Well, we're starting now.
Yes, we're starting because I wave my hands around.
Now, I will say that this is not financial advice, but I am going to tell you what stock I think is going to go through the roof, to the moon, as they would say. And this is all based on recent events, anticipation that we've been waiting for. Tucker Carlson finally making an announcement on Twitter on his profile, and I am so excited to hear what he has to say. And I'm going to share it with you all. Now, because this is YouTube, I'm not going to share the video with you because of all the rules associated with that, this, that, and the other. So I'm just going to read it to you. But with that being said, many of the rules that we have to abide by on this platform has forced us off the platform. And I also think that what Tucker Carlson has to say is going to do the same for many other creators, if not already.
What's interesting is that you just talked like Tucker Carlson, if not already. Like the same kind of inflection and pause, because once you sit there listening to him, it kind of sticks in your brain because the way he talks is calming.
It's not Tucker Carlson, it's YouTube. I have to have a mental consciousness of exactly what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, when I'm going to say it, how I'm going to phrase it. I have to for a variety of reasons.
And then I don't do that, and I get, I don't know what the word is. I don't think I can even say the word. Like,
oh, gotcha. Yeah. So where we've decided to go, we don't have to worry about that. We can literally do and say anything we want.
Literally anything, which I will do.
So if you guys want to join us, link in the description. By all means, check us out on Instagram for sure. Look, when Fox News settled to not have to go to trial and pay some almost $800 million to Dominion, the first thing I said was, the reason they did that is because they don't want to put Tucker Carlson on the stand and testify. Because in my opinion, under oath or not, I think Tucker Carlson is going to tell you the truth as he sees it.
Now that he's not under Fox's thumb.
No, I think at that time he would have done it too. He was still employed by Fox News, Fox Corporation, when they settled. And they knew, I feel confident that they knew that if they put Tucker Carlson on the stand, he's going to say whatever he wants to say. That would have cost them more than $800 million.
I agree.
So to pay $800 million to not place blame or accept any sort of fault says a lot. And when the headline came out that they settled, I said they didn't want Tucker Carlson saying whatever it was he was going to say based on whatever questions he was going to be asked. So then not too long after that, he gets fired. And that just kind of like solidified my thought and my opinion and my assumption, which we're going to talk about assumptions here, especially when it comes to YouTube. It just solidified it for me because I was like, they didn't want him to testify. He goes live every week or every night or whatever it may be. He's risky.
He's like a little baby ticking time bomb.
He's risky for the network and their YouTube channel and everything else that's tied to it. They're going to let him go. He had pizza on Friday with the pizza guy from Florida, some Florida pizza guy who stopped a crime or something.
Yeah.
See you Monday. No. He was fired.
Dude stopped the crime. He tripped the guy running from the police while still holding the pizzas and didn't drop them at all. And then once the guy tripped and the police got him, he turned around and walked to the door and delivered the pizzas. I was just...
In 30 minutes or less.
30 minutes or less.
Otherwise, it's free. That's the rule.
Whose rule was that? Domino's?
It was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, yeah, but it was also a thing, for real.
I think it started underground in the sewers.
Well, obviously, it was probably Splinter's idea, but...
So now Tucker Carlson has come out and he's, despite the allegations behind video, behind the scenes footage being released, trying to make him look bad, trying to throw him under the bus, he's still got a smile on his face, and he's still coming to bring something very, very good, something very, very welcoming, something we should have had a long time ago.
What's interesting is that in his video, he looks, in my opinion, this video gives him, he looks more trustworthy and like the guy next door that you shoot the shit with. Versus that cold setup at Fox News. You know
I
what
didn't
I mean?
watch him a lot on Fox News, right? But it was funny because after he got fired, he goes, yo, I had dinner with my wife. I haven't done that in like 10 years. I saw him before he got fired, randomly on the Full Send podcast. And I was like, yo, man, this is not what I expected.
Yeah.
And then I saw his speech at some university. I was like, this guy is kind of like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Like I knew who he was, name and face. I mean, as a creator. But you didn't have an
idea of who he was because he was reading the script and doing the things that Fox wanted him to do.
As a creator, I'm paying attention because I'm like, yo, every time he shows up, most of the time he shows up, he gets the most views on Fox News. Yeah. I want my views.
Yeah.
You know, I want to learn. But I will tell you this, it really got me every time I would watch him. And every time he would cover a story, whether I had researched it myself or then researched it after he did to see if I could get some sort of viral pop myself, I could see it in his face, the point in time where he had to stop being himself.
And start pushing whatever. No, I don't use the word push.
No, see, that's it. He had to stop being himself and just stop. And just stop. And I could see it. And the last one I saw on was when he covered the central bank digital currency and the European Central Bank and Christine Lagarde. And he couldn't say what he wanted to say, which was this video was actually a prank.
Was designed as a prank.
Yes. This clip that we have is literally from a Rumble video that says prank that YouTube has since taken down. But he couldn't say that. And
because Fox needed it to be sensational and like it was real so that you would be worried. And
it was real.
Yeah, her words are real. So they probably looked at it as all of it, all the rest of it is, it's not important because the meat and potatoes of it right here is actually real. So it doesn't matter that she was tricked into saying these things. This part is real. But without having that full picture.
They don't give you all the context. They take the little soundbite, the little clip, to make it seem and sound the way that they want. And look, it's so easy to do because I can take a soundbite, I can take a clip, I can take a title, I can take a thumbnail, I can take a B-roll scene with no audio from the time of which we moved into this apartment where we had a U-Haul trailer and put it in a video talking about eviction, and people think that we are being evicted.
All because you showed what it's like.
All because I gave them a little piece and I knew where a majority of their minds would go.
Without actually watching the video, listening to the words, paying attention.
Without actually, there's a live stream with Chris. It starts right now. I have to catch up to it. Without actually listening, without actually digesting the information, without actually thinking for themselves, which is what I told you guys just a few days ago, is that unfortunately the masses, the majority, their opinions are not their own. They're the opinions of others that they absorb, that they reflect, right, wrong, or indifferent. So let's just go into this Tucker Carlson transcript and I will wait until you're done.
I am finished.
So Tucker Carlson threw this video up on Twitter, and interestingly enough, it's 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Now, I did pull this transcript from Twitter using Rev, which is something I use if you guys want to know how I do any of my sorcery and magic tricks behind the camera, then just let me know. I can show you how to make a YouTube channel, get a bunch of subscribers, make a bunch of money. And so it's 2 minutes and 58 seconds. The maximum amount of time that you can have a video on Twitter is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. How did he make this happen? Is it magic? Is he part of the Illuminati? I don't think so. But if you are verified and you pay the fee to be verified, then you can post a video on Twitter up to 60 minutes so long as you upload it through their website. 10 minutes if you upload it through a device over iOS or Android. There you go. So with that being said, you will probably see more of us on Twitter.
Hey, the good news is this way we know it's the real Tucker Carlson and not a Chat GPI or whatever it's called.
You would think, as long as Tucker Carlson doesn't then start using that to make his own videos.
Oh, yeah.
Again, as I told you guys before, what if the truth is a lie? What if lies are true and that is life? You then have to decide what are you going to do moving forward.
Red pill, blue pill.
You know, this is it. I mean, this is crazy to think, but yeah. Somebody, Zach, he said half the people are walking around are aliens. Maybe he's right. Thanks to AI, thanks to Chat GPT, maybe he's right. Maybe it's not aliens in the sense that we see them on the street, but it's aliens that we see on our phones.
Maybe he meant illegal.
Yeah, after Thursday.
Maybe it's illegal aliens.
So anyway, if you guys want to know more about the inner workings of content creation, social media, study, whatever, we're going to talk about Tucker Carlson. And it starts off with, hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies, but most of the time that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read from the New York Times is in fact true in the literal sense. Now, I will say that most people will not dissect his words like I am. Not in the literal sense. Think back on the video I posted just the other day. No fault, period. No divorce. It's 100% true. It's 100% true in the literal sense. But you need to watch the video and really understand what I'm trying to say. And this is what New York Times, this is what all these media outlets
Washington
do.
Post,
This is what
CNN,
Fox News does.
MSNBC.
Look, you want to say left, right, blue, red, Democrat, Republican? It doesn't matter. They all do it. They all do it.
The independents always get left out.
And I like Fox News because they're very entertaining to me based on how they do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be oblivious to the fact that they do it. Man, what was the one that they came up with the other day? And it made it seem like, you know, if you actually took it for face value, the world was coming to an end. Like just terrible. But they leave out certain key components, and it's unbelievable. Now, he says that it could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. He literally tells you that they run their stories, manipulate the stories through fact checks, and then have lawyers sign off on it, obviously preventing them or at least trying to mitigate their risk from
You realize what it looks like when you have to have a lawyer sign off on it first.
Who was it? It was Ty Lopez. He had somebody interview him walking around his property, his compound, his mansion. He had 3 attorneys following him the entire time. He was not allowed to walk around and have conversation recorded without attorneys present because of what he could potentially say.
But also you have to be careful with recorded what they could potentially manipulate. To me, the paper trail is always the better one. It's harder to manipulate.
Full transparency. East Palestine. Everybody wants you on their stream, collaborate, yada, yada, yada. I said no.
I won't do it because you never know what they could tweak, what they could change, take out of context, do whatever. And not to say anything negative against other creators, obviously, but you never know who their editors are. If they're not editing themselves and they send it off, their editor may say, we need to make you look good, make her look not so good. And they just tweak things and everything's out of context and nothing goes together. And then that's not helpful to anybody.
They could not edit the video, choose a specific title and thumbnail, make you look however they want you to look, because they know that a majority of the audience is going to base their opinions and form
title and thumbnail.
Yes, without actually consuming the content.
Correct.
Now, I will say that I really do appreciate and I thank everybody who has engaged with me on my channels and entrusted me with presenting the video and the content in the context that it was originally in, which I don't edit. So I really do appreciate that. Those videos, unfortunately, do not get a lot of views because I send them out to the world as they should be. But the masses and or the algorithm are not interested in that. So unfortunately, until I bring a guest on that tells us that the world's coming to an end and the government is out to get everybody,
I can tell you that on my channel.
Then it will probably never get pushed. But either way, it says here that, despite the lawyers having signed off, but that doesn't make it true. Just because they fact checked it and signed off and allowed it to go out to the masses does not make it true. It's not true, is what he says. He literally says it's not true. At the most basic level, the news that you consume is, in fact, a lie. A lie. Of the stealthiest and most insidious kind, facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. Now, this is unfortunate. You're being manipulated. I'm reading this from what Tucker Carlson said on Twitter. At the time, it had like 15 million views. Go check it out. I'm not making this up. I'm not mixing words. And you are being manipulated. But no different than a fish in the water, in the ocean, in a lake, in a river. When bait is cast into the water, it could be live bait. It could be tackle. It could look like real fish. That fish is then being manipulated to want to go after that meal. It's a manipulation. It's a tactic. It's a trick. It's a strategy. You're being manipulated to go to work. You're being manipulated to go to stop at red lights. You're being manipulated to wear masks. You're being manipulated to inject substances into your bodies. You're being manipulated on a regular basis. And you're also being manipulated every time you consume content, specifically information from the news, from the media, but even from regular people who misunderstand the actual facts and truth that just then run off and spout off at the mouth saying whatever they want that isn't actually true. And then someone else interprets it. You have this game of telephone, and then eventually, I
had to call out a couple people on my video today where they said, oh, you said this, so I'm going to have to unsubscribe. And I literally said, please point out where I said this. I literally never once said the words that just you typed out.
Never said it.
Please unsubscribe. If you're that ignorant and that whatever, please go away.
Now, I used to engage in those comments and be like, yo, please tell me where I said this. Remember that live stream when I said, I'll give you a prize?
And that person,
and they come with all these different ways of how.
Which none of them were correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, this, amongst other reasons, is why I don't reply to comments. I don't. The comments are for you. The comments are for you guys to all engage in the comment section. I read them. I don't reply. I don't respond. And a friend of mine actually got blocked from responding to comments. Crazy. However, if you do want to engage, come on over to Instagram. Come on over to Patreon. I'll communicate. Be forewarned, there is a fake Instagram account out there pretending to be me. So be careful.
What's so weird is it's a big name pretending to be you at the same time.
It's not a big name. It's not a big name.
He's big enough. He's on YouTube.
He got some subs. He got some subs. He doesn't look like me.
No, he doesn't at all.
Unless you think all black people look alike. Yeah. But I don't get it. I don't know why he's doing it.
Willingly stole everything of your stuff.
I don't know why he's doing it. And I don't know why people are falling for it. I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense.
I will literally sit here and tell you, I don't want your money. I will never ask for your money. I don't want it. Yet, oh man, he scammed me. He got me from a...
I don't know what to tell you. I feel awful for people like that, but that's on them.
The sad part about it is that those people are most at risk given this current situation that Tucker Carlson is attempting to take on. Now, this could be potentially huge for Twitter. Huge for Elon Musk and Twitter with this happening and having the ability to bring over such a large and influential and potentially controversial figure onto Twitter. I can promise you that why this video was uploaded is because the deal between Twitter and Tucker Carlson was the best. It was the best.
Go anywhere else.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later about what that really means, what it means for stock prices too. If you're buying Twitter stock. So, Tucker Carlson says, how does that work? Or asks. Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not strictly speaking a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you? No, I am not. I am misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters. Every day of the week, every week of the year. And I will say that I think that they're doing it in stories that we would think don't matter. Mm-hmm. I think if they're bringing you the story, it matters for the big networks, but for the smaller networks, I don't think the small networks are really. Now there are a few that I've come across, some of which are in Chicago area, like they getting on, they figured it out. They're like, look, we about to get some of this YouTube money. Mm-hmm. But the big ones, if they bring you a story, it's a story that matters, and they're manipulating it.
I feel like over on my channel, if any of you watch Squirrel Trap, I feel like that's what I focus on. The story they tell you, and then I dig into what they're not telling you. I look at everything around it as opposed to just that one little thing they want you to see. I try to find the backstory to it, what could happen from it, what's happening around it, during it, because of it, and go from there, because a lot of people read it, take it at face value, keep it moving, and they don't bother or have the time, not bother, but sometimes just literally do not have the time or the thought process that would make them ping pong all over stuff like I do to think of things and get different answers for stuff.
It's crazy what they do and how they do it. But with that being said, there are other YouTube channels that you watch, and I know you watch because YouTube Studio tells me you watch them, and they do the same thing. Some of them have fewer subs than me. Some of them have more subs than me. Some of them have over 1 million subscribers. And I can show you, I can provide to you proof, actual facts, data, based on my own research to bring you guys this information, where they omit, where they exclude, where they kind of dance around certain topics and conversations.
Because if you put it all in there, it takes away the kill switch factor of it, if you will. I don't know what else to call it, but that's what it is. It takes away oh no, we got to talk about this and tell everybody, share this. Oh no, look what it takes that away, and it becomes this is all the information. Well, now I'm informed, and it takes away the sensationalism of it.
I don't get it. I'm desensitized. She'll tell me stuff, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. Like half the news that is brought is intentionally propped up and pumped up to provide this dopamine effect, which
like cheese.
Chris was telling me earlier today. He's like,
Chris Igo,
and he was like, the endorphin, like when they hit you, I don't get that, because I'm like, look, it doesn't sound right at all, and I'm sure that it's being misinterpreted. I'm sure that there's more context that hasn't been included. There's more to this. There's 3 sides to every story: your side, their side, and the truth. I want to bring you guys the truth. I am very confident that you are not ready for the truth. And I'm also not super focused on trying to change your mind or trying to teach you or trying to educate you to be better. I'm going to continue to provide you with what content I want to provide you with. What you do with it after that, at that point, is up to you. But based on my experiences and what I've seen so far, 1% of 1% is awake and ready to actually have these conversations and understand what's happening and discuss and debate. And the 1% of 1% is who I really, really want to talk to. Mm-hmm. The others, nothing against you. I really do appreciate you. But at the same time, you probably didn't make it this far into this video.
I agree.
So if you want to know the other channels, I'm not going to call them out on here, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus. But if you want to know who they are and perhaps maybe some of the instances, so that you can then have a better idea of how to better analyze the information that they bring to you 2 to 4 times a day between regular uploads, live streams, and their second channel that they got started a few months ago, hit me up on Patreon. I will just disclose that information on Patreon. And if you know what channel I'm talking about and you drop it in the comments, I'll give you a heart. So what's it like to work in a system like that is a question. After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. I think the cool part about this is that it's not just Tucker Carlson, it's his producer as well.
I was about to say, what I found interesting was he said we could
Oh,
tell you
no.
stories.
Yeah, he's got the team with him.
Okay.
You know, he's got his team with him who is helping him collect this information and do his investigative journalism and put these stories together. But here's the problem.
Here's my issue then. If they're the ones helping him do all this and he still doesn't like what he had to say because he felt like he wasn't being allowed to say what he wanted to say, why does he still have that same team?
Same team, but they're still underneath the parent. They do as much as they can, the best they can together, and then they're like, you know what, we can't keep doing this, you know?
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think he got fired and the producer left
with him, yeah.
So, or at least he's like, hey, come on, I got you. So, the best you can hope for in the news business is that it's at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. Now, here's the problem with that. If you tell the full truth, depending on who's listening, they're going to say you're lying. If the left told the full truth, Tucker Carlson would tell you that the right says they're lying when he worked at Fox News. Maybe not explicitly, maybe not blatantly, but he would have to. And vice versa.
I was going to say also, if you tell the entire truth, everything, you also have to be prepared for the repercussions of telling the entire truth on top of that.
But the problem is, what if the truth is a lie? What if everything you've known that's been a lie is the truth?
This makes me feel like the intro to Twilight.
It really, like, he can try to tell you the truth, but then you gotta understand what your truth is. If the truth is that you don't want to eat bugs, that's the truth. I don't want to eat bugs. I'll never eat bugs. Let me give you let me give you a better example. Let me give you a better example. Bud Light. The whole blow up with Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch. People are outraged. Still drinking other Anheuser-Busch products.
Just not Bud Light.
Until someone was like, hey, turn that label. They were like, oh man. They didn't know. They didn't know the truth.
But they thought they did.
It was marketing. The better one is, I hate Disney. I'll never support Disney.
I don't understand how you can go to Disney and how you can have Disney on your body and whatever else.
Never. The truth is,
Disney has their hand in everything. Do you watch National Geographic? Do you watch NFL? Do you watch
ESPN?
Anything on ESPN? Do you use certain products? Like, they have their hands in absolutely everything. They are the BlackRock of entertainment channels or thingies.
And then once you find out that truth is a lie, what are you going to do? Because now the truth angers you because you're like, oh, I can't give up my son. I can't give up football.
I can't give up, Sunday night football, Monday night football.
Yeah, like.
How do I?
So it's like, that's like, he can bring you the truth.
But it may piss you off.
But he says that there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess. It's a guarantee. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. The rules of what you can't say. We cannot, thanks to YouTube's new policy guideline updates, we cannot talk about eating disorders. We couldn't talk about the World Health Organization at one point. We couldn't talk about
C-19.
Yeah, there's certain things you can't talk about.
But why is that? Because they don't like differing opinions besides the ones they want you to believe.
And those are typically the ones that are going to tear you down. Okay? And I will be the first to attest to this. I can't.
What's the last line?
Let me get back where I was. I highlighted this so I wouldn't do this. What you can't say defines everything. There are limits. And when you bump up against those limits, you get fired. My subscriber count dropped. My views dropped. My revenue dropped. Why? I was bumping up against the limits. On this platform, I was bumping up against the limits, trying to bring you guys the truth. The way I saw it, the truth, the facts, help getting you in a at least having access to information to get you in a much better financial position at a time in which they're all pushing for a recession and job loss and detriment and economic crash and collapse.
And trying to find a way to make you less scared because you are more self-sustainable.
So the more I try to do that, the more I got closer to the limit for which I got fired. I didn't get paid. Okay? Now, again, if you come over to Patreon, I can show you the channels and where they manipulate these things. And I can show you that channel where at one point in time, they picked up 7 million views in 4 days on one video. A video that was a lie, straight up lie. A manipulation of context and data and a word salad to make people believe that money was going to be of no value and the government was going to control you through CBDC. The video before and after it got 20,000 views. Just saying.
When you speak their agenda.
Just saying.
Sorry, out a little farther.
I'm just saying. Everything that they said in the video was actually true, but the order in which they said it and how they said it and the inflections and then the certain insinuations ultimately made it a lie. Or at least made it to the point at which people would believe that the lie was true. And they panic and they fear and they worry. So it says here that, according to this transcript, it's utterly corrupting, and you can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. And you can't really, especially on YouTube, because if you say what you think is true, which is quite possibly not, depending on which political party you align with, then you get suppressed, you get restricted, you get copyrighted, you get your video, like you get demonetized, you get everything that you don't deserve. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, it literally says if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. What you and I, the video you just put up on Patreon, off a conversation we had this morning, that the way I looked at it and the way I read it, it was true. The way I responded to it was true to me, was my truth in how I read it. Do you know what I mean? But the way you responded to it was your truth, and we were definitely not eye to eye on that. But you felt yours was the truth. I felt mine was the truth. So technically, neither of us are wrong. We're just on different sides of the truth.
Now, you're right. You're 100% right. However, if we were to ask the question, and I'm going to potentially be on an island here, but if we were to ask the question of what is a real woman, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you that. And anything you tell me that doesn't align with what I tell you is a lie. I know what a real woman is. I know what a real female is. I know what that is, okay? Yeah. However, if I want to share that on this platform, I can't.
Because you have to push
because it's
lie.
Not their truth.
Yes.
It's not their truth.
That's the problem right now too.
I can say what I think is true, but you won't hear it because they don't think it is, and therefore they will suppress it. And then they will continuously pump out and push out this perpetuating cycle of ridiculousness to get people to believe their truth, which is actually a lie.
I mean, after my East Palestine videos, they put me on restricted. That whole entire playlist is restricted, where depending on your age and depending on how you're set up, you can't see any of it. And since then, my videos have not gotten the push because they don't want the truth speakers out there. So I'm having the same issues, but I'm still going to bring you what I can until they shut me down.
Well, we're going to bring you way more
somewhere else, but.
So interestingly enough, I get a lot of comments that say, Kevin, you need to get with God, you need to get with Jesus.
How do you know?
You need to read your Bible. all this is in the Bible. Mark of the beast. You know, this is all prophesized. Okay. No one's ever told me that transgender was in the Bible.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said that was coming. Nobody ever said that was coming. Where'd that come from?
I'm not quite sure, because God made Adam and Eve. If you believe in all that and you read the Bible and whatever else, God made man in his image. There's Adam and there's Eve. There was not a middle road that was confused between the two.
Don't concern yourself with these worldly possessions and money, although you need it, so you don't fall victim of eviction, which we're so sorry to hear about. So which one is it? Should I quit my job and, only follow the word of the Lord?
Which doesn't feed you, keep you clothed, take care of you at all.
Which was written by someone? Is this the beginning of media and propaganda? I don't know. Or should I speak my truth the way that I see it, while still trying to live a good life and help others along the way? I choose the latter. Mm-hmm. So according to the transcript, it says that speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news. You talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Now, I like that because he's been inside. Mm-hmm. And I've been in situations where I've been inside and I know how it works, and I kind of want to tell the world how it works, but I also know that the world's not really ready to know how it works. Mm-hmm. Is he putting a price tag on his head? I don't know. Will he actually tell the truth? I don't know.
What I like is that he said, the only place where our national conversation incubates and develops, the only place is Twitter, where, what is it? How do you say it? Oh, allow for free speech. You wouldn't have said the same thing however long ago when whoever owned Twitter before Elon Musk banned Trump and banned these people and banned those people, because that was...
Let me speak to you from a creator's perspective. I don't put my paid promotion and sponsorship at the beginning of my video. I put it towards the end. It feels less like a sell. Mm-hmm. There are other platforms that allow free speech. Mm-hmm. Reddit. Mm-hmm. And you can host video there. There are other platforms that allow this. But the deal between Twitter and Tucker Carlson, in my opinion, this is the setup, okay? Yeah. This is the buildup.
Yeah.
I don't care. If they actually do what they say they're about to do, that's cool. I don't care about that. I don't care how much money he makes. I don't care how much money Twitter makes. I don't care. Like, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. I hope they make a lot. Mm-hmm. But I'm also concerned that there could potentially be an agenda here, leveraging an opportunity.
Especially now that Twitter is now you can pay for the blue check. You just got to pay a certain amount each month. The cost of a gold check is way more than it was just a month or two ago.
I mean, if we're talking about free, like freedom of speech, why isn't it free?
Yeah. Now you have to pay for your speech.
Starting soon, we will be bringing a new version of the show that we've been doing for the last 6 years, or 6.5 years, to Twitter. We'll bring some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right you have, and without it, you have no others. See you soon.
Now here's my question. If over here is where he feels he can have his free speech, does he still see things the same way he talked about them on Fox News? Or does that change now that Fox News fired him?
I think he will see them the way that he saw them before. He just won't stop talking when he gets to the point at which he's going to elaborate and clearly explain to the public what it really means. Okay. But also, this is a buildup. This is about the third time we've seen him since he's been fired. This is a buildup, okay?
You have to pay to watch his show because Twitter also has subscriptions now.
The teaser will be free. Eventually, we're going to get to the point of which you got to pay for this. And it may not be Tucker Carlson. It may be Twitter, so that Tucker Carlson doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
And Twitter is just being Twitter, charging people for services and features.
Like you have to pay to watch stuff on Hulu, you have to pay to watch stuff on Netflix.
Or
as well.
Maybe we see advertisers showing up on Twitter and Twitter getting commercials, which is how YouTube's able to provide free videos for anybody who jumps on the platform and wants to watch it without charging everybody because they're being paid by the advertisers. That could be a possibility. This could also potentially be the beginning of the transition and switch over to Twitter from YouTube. Thinking about how many creators would love to get out of YouTube and over to Twitter to really speak the truth. And YouTube can go back to being a platform full of cat videos.
Although it's different kind of cats these days. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Some cosplay going on.
So weird.
So you would think, no, Rumble's the way to go. No, Rumble's not the way to go.
Rumble's also not the way to go.
We got a video we've been sitting on for like a month. I haven't sent it out yet. And I didn't because we got done. We sat right here, we recorded the video, we got done, and we were like, we can't put this on YouTube.
Yeah, they won't.
We can't put it. You would never see us ever again.
Yeah, they would stop us immediately. I'm actually waiting for a little ding because of what I titled my video today.
If you want to know what she titled her video today, go check out Squirrel Tribe. And go check out Squirrel Tribe 2.0 because you'll be pleasantly surprised at what you find there.
2 totally different channels, keep that in mind.
Now, yes, Squirrel Tribe is news, updates, breaking alerts, warnings, connecting the dots. Squirrel Tribe 2.0 is this lovely lady right here, shooting the shit with you.
Yeah.
Having conversations.
Yeah.
Squirrel Tribe Life
Yeah.
is out there too. And that's just going to be us hanging out, having fun. Okay. So don't bring that nonsense over there. Don't bring that shit over there. But more importantly, Instagram is a great secondary platform, which I'm really excited about Instagram and sharing some of these the stuff with you on Instagram. But Patreon is going to be where it's at. Patreon is going to be where it's at. I'm just going to say that right now. And that's where we're going to get like really into it. And there's like no holds barred on Patreon. We can say what we want. We can show what we want. We can have these videos and we can do these reactions to them without having to worry about copyright strikes and all that other stuff and takedowns and bring you guys the truth. And we can have discussions because we'll bring you what we see, how we see it, and have a discussion and conversation about it. And we can all come together to try to figure out what's really real. Because just because we say it doesn't mean that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just how we interpret it. That's just where the facts, the data takes us. But it'll ultimately be up to all of us to formulate an opinion on what could possibly be real. And more importantly, what we're going to do with that information moving forward. If you know that what is real is economic turmoil and struggle and recession and job loss, now that you know that, you're just going to sit there and wait for it to hit you in the face? No. We need to prepare for that. Either way, I'm very excited to see what happens with Tucker Carlson and with Twitter and with us and with Instagram and with Patreon and with Twitter, because I'm going to start posting on Twitter.
I've got a couple things over there, and I get tagged a lot of stuff, which is really cool. I still have no clue how to use Twitter. I'm not even going to lie.
Neither do I.
Like, my phone goes off, and it says,
Neither do I.
It'll say something, and I'm like, wait, did somebody send this to me, or is this because I'm following this person? I don't know what's happening right now, and I feel like my mother when I watch those things, like, it's out of my age range, but I'm going to get over there and figure it out.
Like, Instagram's not what I remember it to be. I don't know where anything is. I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
And if I go to that explore button, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff on that explore button. I'm like, I
don't want to explore any of this.
I don't know where anything is. Twitter, I'm so confused. Patreon is not the easiest as a creator, but they're getting better. YouTube, honestly, if I hadn't used it so long, I'd probably think YouTube was kind of weird too, as far as what they do and where they put certain things.
Yeah.
But by immersing ourselves into it and opening our minds and telling ourselves that we are going to learn these platforms. And just to think about how many people use them, it can't be that hard.
Yeah.
We just got to get used to it. It's just...
I mean, if Biden can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, I tell you what, the hardest one was Discord.
Oh,
Discord,
I hated it.
Discord, like, I couldn't wrap my head around that one.
Yeah.
Reddit sometimes too, I can't really wrap my head around that one. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
We always do.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it for now. We'll see how this plays out.
Sorry, I tried to put my hand down and he was like, no, you pet me. You pet me right now.
But thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, you guys take care. Be safe. We'll see you real soon.
Deuces.
I thought my mouse was connected.